Dr. Rhodes's big rug looked soft, but it was hard. They sat on it in a circle, Harl, Clay, and Rhodes, plus Bobby Lee, who'd come along out of curiosity. "It's R-O-A-D-S, Rhodes," said Rhodes. "Jack Kerouac gave me that name. One night at the Cedar. He was drunk and so was I. Do you know who he is?" "I do," said Harl. He even raised his hand. "Then you begin," said Rhodes. He handed Harl a paperback book, already open to the first page. They took turns reading On the Road. By the middle of the afternoon, they were at the Bear Mountain Bridge, and it was raining, and Rhodes sent them home. "My old man will be coming home," he said. "He won't want to find a bunch of beatniks on his expensive rug." This is Minnesota. Jews stick together. Southerners, Clay learned, don't. The only other Southerner at Gideon was, like Clay, from the border. Cape Girardeau, Missouri, a little town 100 miles south of St. Louis, just above the boot heel. Cape was a senior with little to say to freshmen. He edited the campus literary magazine, Prairie Voices, from his room in Wyatt Hall, which he hardly ever left. Clay stuck his poems under his door. He signed them a fellow Southerner. 3 days later, Clay laid them on the table at the student union, then walked out without a word. He always wore a suit and tie. They were rejected with a note. "It doesn't matter where you're from. What matters is where you're at." "There's one scary dude," said Ira admiringly. Lena was Ira's girl first, then she was Clay's, then she wasn't anymore. "What's the problem?" Clay asked. "You're always in a hurry to get back to the student union," she said. "Together with my girl." "I'm my own girl," Lena said. "You're all your own guys, aren't you?" One night the door of Clay's room clicked open. He was in bed reading. It was after 11, but only a little. Had Lena reconsidered? She hadn't. It was the football team, 6 of them. They pushed open the door, and 3 of them held Clay down while the other 3 cut his hair with electric clippers, taking turns. They didn't even bother to wear masks. The professors were outraged, some of the students too. "Who did it?" the dean asked. "I don't know," said Clay. "They all wore masks." He was a celebrity. The last thing he wanted was revenge. Instead of shaving his head, he wore the clumps and streaks like a badge of honor. "Where are we going?" Clay asked. "Cape's room," Ira said. Clay was impressed. That was by invitation only. In his room, receiving guests, Cape wore a dressing gown. "So they struck," he said. "They've been muttering for months." Clay shrugged. Cape poured 3 drinks from a decanter. The glasses said Old Forester. "This place is awash in ignorance," said Cape. "Your mangy dog look is a rebuke to them." "The worst are full of passionate intensity," said Ira, brushing his long hair out of his eyes with 2 fingers. "I hear you're a Southerner," said Cape. "Western Kentucky, Calhoun." That sounded better than Owensboro. "Never mind where," said Cape. "The South is a state of mind. I have something for you." He opened the cedar box. Inside were 2 cap and ball dueling pistols with ivory grips. "You're kidding," said Clay. "Not at all. One's for you too, Ira. Keep it by your bed." "Cool," said Ira. "Is it loaded?" "Cap only, no ball. Just cock it. The click will be enough for our local clowns." Cape handed each of them a pistol, butt first, then closed the box, crossed the room, opened the door. The interview was over. "I hear you're a poet," he said as they were leaving. "What's this?" "Biology," said Ira. "The doors of perception." It was peyote, little cactus buds scattered in a box like green cupcakes. Ira had ordered them from Texas, and they'd arrived in the mail. "Wake me," they said, rattling in the box like round sleeping lizards. "Eat me." That night, for the first time, they saw the northern lights. They ran outside and ran circles in the snow. They walked Lena to her dorm in circles. The girls had hours. The boys didn't. Mark got cold and went to bed. Ira and Clay lay outside on cardboard and studied the lights in the sky. They had been reading Don Quixote, the Putnam translation. It was required, and now Clay knew why. There were windmills everywhere. Clay got a ride all the way to Pittsburgh with a Mexican from Los Angeles who had been promised a job in a steel mill. His name was Claudio, and he was traveling alone. His wife's name was Felicidad, and he had two sons, Rubio and Julio, ages 11 and 9, both good boys. He drove a '59 Biscayne and kept a Smith & Wesson .38 Special in the glove compartment. In Pittsburgh, Clay caught a freight all the way into the Newark yards and a bus across the unexpectedly reedy swamps into New York City. That was in the morning, just after rush hour. He was feeling proud of himself for hopping the freight when he arrived at the Port Authority bus station. His socks were filled with cinders. His guitar case suitcase was tied shut with string. New York. He hesitated in the doorway on 8th Avenue, looking out the street, jammed with cabs and jammed with people all rushing uptown. He was just about to dive in when a young man in a suit brushed past him with a sneer. "Hello, clowns." Clowns? How did he know that we were so many?